All right, everyone. So we've been playing Borderlands 4, and I'm loving this game. Okay, I've look, I know there's some people that like it, some that don't, but I've been loving this game. And IGN put out an article titled "Borderlands 4 Dev Gearbox says it's prioritizing the first round of buffs over patching out insta-kill knife builds, but it will eventually address unintended interactions." Since Borderlands 4 came out, developer Gearbox has released a PC focused patch that tackles crashes, among a few other things. But players are wondering what the studio intends to do about the looter shooters balance, especially at a time when builds that let you one shot bosses are doing the rounds. Gearbox has now indicated that in the short term, it plans to buff underperforming gear and skills rather than nerf overpowered builds. Indeed, those insta kill builds you've seen online are safe for now, but Gearbox insisted they will get nerfed eventually. Confirmation comes from Borderlands 4 creative director Grammy Timmons, who took to social media to acknowledge the debate about what he called builds that use unintended interactions and or the knife. Here's the statement. We've seen the discourse about builds that use unintended interactions and or the knife. We're not going to act on those immediately. Instead, we're looking at our first round of buffs. Those will get addressed, but we're going to start with underperforming gears and skills first. Okay. So this is interesting for me because obviously there are hardcore Borderlands players who, have played all the games, and so they're on social media, they're in the forums, all these places kind of finding the best builds, right? And they clearly people have found kind of game breaking builds, right? This would be annoying if hey, I could do this, I could put together this loadout and I could basically just beat the game easily. That's game breaking. Okay. And I know you could say, well, just don't put that build on. It's like, well, when you know it's there, right, you're going to want to use it. So I understand people's frustration with this. We'll see what happens. Personally, and I'm not even gonna Google any of this because I don't wanna know about it. This is one thing I've said is I'm really trying to stay away from guides. I'm trying to stay away because I'm someone who maybe up until Borderlands 4, I've maybe played 30 minutes or an hour of Borderlands games. I own all of them on Steam, but I haven't played a ton. And so when I look at it from that standpoint, I'm like, I wanted this to be a fresh game for me. And that's why I think I'm really enjoying it is because it is fresh, it is new. It's like I am discovering things and I don't know what I'm doing even, right? Because I'm getting gear. I'm like, I think this is better. I don't know. Let's try it out. And so we try it out. But I definitely, I could see maybe why they would want to go with underperforming gear and skills first. And obviously, if they feel that's the best, then that's fine. But I do think they got to get around to these kind of game breaking things because sure, it's not game breaking for me. And definitely fixing the crashes and stuff like that was, number one on the list, and this stuff comes second. But you should be serving, right, your hardcore audience. That's who needs to be happy. And I'm not saying you don't want new players coming in like me, right? Someone who's maybe not a hardcore Borderlands fan, but I shouldn't be the person that you're, kind of like this is the person that we are making this game for, right? The one you're making the game for is those hardcore fans. And I can only imagine if you're a hardcore fan of this game, how frustrating it would be when you can, basically have these builds that are so overpowered. Because one of the aspects of this game I've had a lot of fun with is when I'm playing, it's like it is a challenge because there's so many, enemies, and I probably don't have the right builds. I don't have the best things. I'm putting skills at what I think are right in, and I'm playing it that way. And there is a level of challenge. That's fun to me. And in a game that is a looter shooter, it's important that you have some level of challenge because what's the point of getting new loot? What's the point of getting new stuff if it's easy, right? This game's easy. I can understand where the frustration is. So I'm wondering, I'm actually going to scroll further down in this article um, to talk a little bit about it. Let's see. Players have come up with eye-catching builds around the knife that essentially makes a Borderlands 4 boss fight a trivial experience, and thus farming for the game's best loot a lot easier. For example, Vex's Bloodletter passive makes your gun and skill critical hits have a chance to apply bleed, which count as gun damage and is based on the initial damage dealt. Add Vex's Contamination passive, which causes critical hits to increase status effect application chance up to 100%, and thus ensuring the bleed reprocs infinitely, and you've got exponential damage. So throw the knife, land one big shot in the boss, and watch the numbers get bigger and bigger as the bleed ticks it down. So that's I said I wasn't gonna read it, and I did, But I luckily, I really don't even know what the hell was being said there, so that's fine. The news that Gearbox is focusing on buffs over nerfs right now is being celebrated by the community. Okay, this is interesting. Borderlands 4 content creator Moxie called it such a huge W. Massive nerfs hitting Wonderlands and BL3 on launch caused a huge outrage and frustration in the community. Love to see this direction, Moxie said in a post on social media. So that's interesting, right? That makes me a little bit happier actually than what I said initially in at the beginning of the video, where people are happy that I guess, members of the community are actually a little bit more happy that they're taking this approach. So I would say if they feel that way, that's good with me, right? I'm not going to be using these other builds. Hopefully it comes quick. And, because I do think Borderlands 4, there's a lot of charm to this game as I'm playing it. I told you guys I haven't done my I played Borderlands video yet because I'm trying to be able to enjoy this thing. And I really am. Like, it just feels like there's so much I could do. And I'm kind of, instead of playing it all and trying to get it done as quick as possible, I'm just really taking my time with it and playing a few missions here or there. It's one of the few games because I'm a guy that I like story based games, and I don't mind a game that's like 12 hours and it's like, okay, you go from mission to mission to mission and you can get involved in the story. I love those games, short, to the point, and narrative based. I love those type of games. So when a game like Borderlands comes around, I almost know, am I going to finish this thing? I don't know, and I probably won't be doing too many side quests. This game, the side quests are actually fun enough that I'm doing them. So I think that goes a long way with this. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.